Hey, 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 welcome back to Drive Time. I am your host, Craig Pasta Jardula, and we do it live, bringing you all the hot takes, headlines, and unfiltered opinions that matter most. Whether you're stuck in traffic, cruising to work, or just chilling at home, we want to hear from you. Today's topics are all about the big stories making waves, but we're not just here to talk at you. We want to hear your thoughts, your experiences, and your take on everything from the latest political debates to the everyday challenges we face. Remember, whether you're on the left, the right, or somewhere in between, we welcome all points of view. So grab that hands-free device, dial us up, and let's dive into the conversation. What's on your mind? It's Drive Time. Call in now. All right. Good morning. Where we at? Let me see. Oh, because maybe I'm on the YouTube. Why is it so dark? Oh, you know what? Can you play something? I didn't put the last light on. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Hold on. I got to put one light on really quickly. Josh, talk to people. I'm so sorry.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. Pasta's having some technical difficulties this morning. It's Monday. I think we all are. Get your coffee.
Oh, my God.
Get ready for some conversation.
Oh, my God. How embarrassing.
Call in.
Put the number up, you donkey. The guys, good morning. I just wanted to have a show where I could wear my cool ass sunglasses, so I started the show at Drive Time. We had a pretty first successful week. We still really haven't put it out into the universe. We're still testing everything, the Q stuff, right, Sleepy J? I can see already some regulars there. Is that Entenmann's Bill Riley there hanging out in the chat? He's not living in Ossining, but he's from Ossining. I believe that Mrs. Covert Action, Gloria Guillo, from the Uncontrolled Opposition show. If you haven't seen that, on Thursdays, we do it live. We do it live.
Oh, it's a great show.
Every Thursday, her and the professor, they get down, they get dirty.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
talking about the dirtiness of Rwanda. That really changed the movie Hotel Rwanda for me. They ruined it for me. Way to go, guys.
Yeah, I had no clue about a lot of that stuff. Very interesting.
But you suspected, right?
Oh,
you suspect the fuckery of the empire. They're going to be messing
always.
around.
we got our hands in too many cookie jars, man.
Anyways, guys, I just texted somebody. Last week, I planted about one call a day for people to call in, but they're in a day didn't go by where somebody just unexpected picked up the phone and called in, and that to me was great. On Friday, I had 0 calls planted, and there was 5 calls throughout the whole day, and that was cool. We had some great conversations. Keaton Weiss, Do Dissonance, just grabbed the phone, called in the other day on Thursday with Kyle Anzalone. Having some great conversations. They're conversations that you don't have everywhere. You definitely don't see them on mainstream media. I mean, holy cow, Sleepy. The tribal behavior of Fox News is so fucking bad. And I only know that because I throw that on for my mom in the morning sometimes. And she even gets frustrated with it. And she can't even talk. But I can still look at her face and she says, enough of this shit. Even my mom, right? God bless her. She's lost her speech and her ability to walk. Even she's aggravated and annoyed with fucking Donald Trump at this point. You know who else is annoyed and aggravated with Donald Trump at this time? Albanians. If you go as far as to piss off the Albanians, right? Has there been anybody in the history of the United States and the world, any president here that's pissed off the Albanians?
Not that I can think
of. Albanians. I didn't know it was possible. The Albanians run Little Italy in New York, if you don't know that. They have most of the shops. They're not even Italian. They're Albanian. It's very hard to piss these people off. And yet, the Trump administration has pissed off Albanians.
Hold my beer.
Yeah, hold my beer. Building, I guess, structures and hotels or whatever. And he pissed off the Albanians. Good morning to Gabriel Freedom in the chat, too, as well. Producer is in the house. Where's our other producer, Fred Edwards? Somebody go wake up Fred. You can call us live at 561-247-2721. That's 561-247 Bernie Sanders Blackjack. Isn't it 2127?
I don't think so. No, 2721.
I sent him the wrong the number. So it's 2721?
Yep.
Are you sure?
I'm looking in the phone area. 247-2721. Drive time in the morning.
I can't even get my number down right. I got a call-in show and I don't even know the number.
There's a lot of twos in there.
561 247 Bernie Sanders blackjack. Right? Bernie Sanders blackjack. If you don't know what that's about, yeah, some of y'all know that the Bernie Sanders. We have an average donation of $27. Man, I wish that guy would have done
anything.
I just wish.
Instead of be the sheepdoggy dog that he is.
Well, that's Donald Trump right now, right?
I mean, to be fair, I think they're all like that.
Well,
they all
I
just
mean,
want you in their weird duopoly party to
yes. But I mean, Bernie Sanders
going.
existed to sheepdog a bunch of lefties into the Democratic Party. And even in 2020, there was a lot of people. Yeah, it's 27-21.
I didn't vote for Bernie, so I don't know. I didn't know enough about him back then, but
yeah. So here's what I want everybody to do. Take your phone out, or if you're on your computer, go to today's show. Tell everybody it's episode 6. Pasta's got a great... Take your phone. Take your phone out. Tell everybody Pasta's got a really cool shirt on. Hit the share button.
There's Bill. He's in the chat.
Bill's in the chat. What's going on? Yeah, we saw Bill.
Copy the link.
Go to your text pages and send it to people. And yeah, so we've been rocking it every Monday through Friday now. We did a whole week. Monday is the only day I don't have a co-host other than Josh. Me and Sleepy don't have an extra co-host. The other co-hosts are on Tuesdays is Nico House. On Wednesdays, retired Lieutenant Colonel Karen Kwiatkowski. On Thursday, Kyle's Alone for the Libertarian Institution, also antiwar.com. And on Friday, Andrew Zigman. So we have co-hosts all times of the week. This could be a good pull-up spot. We're going to be consistent. We're going to open the doors for business every morning at 8 a.m. Eastern, and then you can call on in and say what you got going on. By the way, there was an election in Colombia the other day. Now, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know if they have the final results, but the way it goes is that the top two go-getters will face off in a runoff unless the top person on the first round gets 50% plus one. That's over 50%, in other words. So I say 50% of the vote plus one extra vote will get you over the top. Usually goes down to a runoff. Last time in Colombia, when me and Fiorella went, it came down to Gustavo Petro and a guy by the name of Gilbert Hernandez, I believe his name was. And then eventually Gustavo Petro won. This time...
I got to fix the phone. It's being done.
What happened?
Phone's being weird. Let me go fix it.
What's wrong with the phone?
I don't know. It's like someone's in the queue and it didn't ring it.
But there's somebody there.
There was.
We lost somebody already. Josh, we can't afford to lose anybody. We get a fish on the hook. We got to reel it in.
I mean,
back to Columbia as Josh is attending to the phone. I think we should just get the big old phone, the big old giant phone with all the pieces, and put the 9 to 5 headset on Josh, so he's pressing buttons left and right. Good morning, Snorky. Good morning, Gabrielle. Good morning, Bill. Good morning, Bob of Atlantis, who called in last week, which was a fun call. Always great to have some old school people calling in. So in Colombia, you need 50% plus one, and if you win that, you don't have to have a second round. The only time I haven't seen a second round was Nayib Bukele in El Salvador, where I think he won 80-something% of the vote, something ridiculous. And once again, there are some, and there are people I know, activists, journalists, and whatnot that lean left that don't like Bukele.
All right, try to call again, Snorky. It was doing
Snorky, call on in again. Give us one shot. We're going to try to get Snorky on the phone.
The business hours weren't triggering, even though they should have.
Josh, we got to make sure we have keys to the door. Let people in.
Hey, it's been set like this the whole time. It's just Google being stupid.
We have to test these phones every morning now. It looks like these systems suck. Why are we going backwards on phone technology? Right? Shouldn't we be moving forward? We're on.
Hold on. You're on.
The phone?
Okay, I made it through the queue.
Hey, who is it? Where are you calling from?
This is Snork out in Iowa. So for the past 2 weeks, calling or not calling it, but using websites like YouTube, get delays, but not delays for everything. Usually on it, it's some type of show that you're getting information from. And I don't know how many of you use services like Down Detector. It's part of Speed Test, but Down Detector will show you all of the major websites that are down. And for the past couple of weeks, hardly on a talk show like yours, hardly I can get through more than a minute before it goes in the buffer zone. And it's really frustrating. And it's not you. I can attach to a different site and I get through. It's something that might be serious enough to look into. And it started happening right after the Massey election. Just all of a sudden, there wasn't any chance to hit any shows that might talk about it and whatever. But I called a week or so ago and asked me to call back. Now, if it was just a regular network problem, my phone would be dying too, right? And I've already gone into on the YouTube side. I've already gone into buffer. So
Snarky, are you insinuating that the ruling class uses the media and they suppress people with technical problems like gremlins and stuff? That's what we would refer to them, like, oh, there's a gremlin in the system today. Something's not working.
Used to call him
keeps
Kevin.
buffering, right?
It's Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Kevin is involved. It seems like, and I hear no news about it, but it's like for the past 2 weeks, we've had an assault on our internet system.
Yeah.
And
no, it's
like I said, Sorry.
Go ahead, buddy. Sorry.
I use Down Detector to track what websites are going up and like going on. And I check other things. I have a very good internet system. I've got a 2 gigabyte and it upload and download. So I got a really fast upload and download. And I'm able to connect to all kinds of sites. So I know that my little computer is working fine. I'm rebuilding my big computer right now. And so since I've retired, the first thing I had to do is fix my computers. I haven't had time to even pay attention to sites like yours because I've been working so much. And it's just different to finally be out. And this is a strange time to suddenly be aware. I'm very worried about people's ability to have jobs. I have not seen the economy this unstable since 1987.
Yeah,
I got that. Right.
You combine it to Stork. You combine that like the instability with the unknown of the future, right? Like, because this AI kind of generation, the way that's taking over, and I used to downplay it a lot, but now I see in so many areas where they're just using it to replace people, and there's this like uncertainty of what the future is going to be like, just from a like industrial technological point of view. Like, how are we going to operate? How are things going to change? How is that going to affect our lives? I mean, right now, the sad part is that a lot of the stuff that we have, the uncertainty and the unstableness, the instability, is thrust upon us because we have a ruling class that wants to take more for themselves and leave little for everybody else, right? Let's call it what it is. That's it's a head towards feudalism, but the actual change in everything, you know what I'm saying? That's also scary on top of things. So when I say we're at the beginning of the Terminator, I mean it. Fucking Skynet is built. We're at the beginning of the Terminator. We're being surveilled all the time. Everything, all these data centers that are coming on, and I'm glad to see some people pushing back against it. It's kind of cute to see the left that goes, no, it takes too much water, it takes too much energy. That's bad for the environment. Don't do it. And the right going, these MFers are recording everything and watching everything we do. We can't let them do that. At the end of the day, I'm just glad there's a pushback in general, Snork, against it. But the uncertainty of what it's going to be like in the future, too, just from a technological point of view, is very scary. Everybody's working for an act.
I remember,
right?
Yeah, but I remember back in the 80s. When John Deere started laying off, we hadn't had NAFTA yet, but when John Deere started laying off in Iowa, and most people don't realize the John Deere plant in Waterloo, Iowa, is about the equivalent of a major automotive factory. And almost every little town in Iowa was building one thing that went into a tractor, and a lot of little towns all across Iowa. And Iowa really went into a depression in the 87. There was just no jobs here. I even left Iowa to go get a job out in Illinois. But I'm seeing the same thing, massive layoffs at John Deere. I'm seeing massive layoffs all over. We have this huge, enormous budget going into our war machines. But a lot of people think it's being for things here. We're sending that money offshore to buy weapons offshore.
Yeah.
And
so we're not even manufacturing the weapons here anymore, is what you're saying, Snork.
We are manufacturing some of it, but a large portion is just going offshore, having them build it there.
Now that's very un-American. Let me just say that much. The bombs we build to kill and maim all these poor innocent women, children around the world should be built here at home. That's money for us. That's bullshit. That's something that Donald Trump would say, right?
Yeah, but a lot of the things that are weapon industry are also dual usage. So while the things for fighter planes, so like the avionics for a fighter plane is almost identical for a lot of the avionics in an airliner. The stuff for data centers, we use other places as well. And now a lot of my students, since I'm no longer a teacher, actually did go to work at data centers. So not extremely huge ones, but small ones. But but we're looking at all kinds of different things that we used to make in America that we offshored. And I believe when we offshored them, our senators and politicians all got kickbacks for sending stuff out of the country.
Did you notice that when NAFTA got signed with Clinton? Because obviously you said something about the 80s, so you already showed your age. I don't mean to be exposing you any more than you have to be in the morning, Snorky. No. I'm not mean like that. But since you've already exposed your age, did you notice a difference when NAFTA was signed? Then because a lot of people said that was one of the final spikes pushed all the way through. Did you notice anything when NAFTA was signed from Clinton that a lot of jobs just said bye-bye?
And I was in the room when the Democrats talked the Japanese factories into shutting down in the United States and moved to Mexico.
You were in the room?
And I was in the room. And I don't want to say it on here because I don't want to get you in trouble. It was totally disgusting all along the way. And the Japanese actually didn't want to go to Mexico. It was they really had to be talked into it. But the movement started right after Clinton took office, and at first we had a lot of jobs from people being hired to shut down factories, build new factories in Mexico. But once the factories were gone, we started getting massive layoffs.
Yeah, yeah.
And so in 1994, there was huge increase in the amount of money that the Japanese people had, and by 96, they ran out of capital to use on all kinds of projects. They were canceling projects like you couldn't believe. Before that, they were more of the image that they would only have to be in Mexico for 8 years, and then they were going to open factories in Africa, and that plan got totally shot down. Oops, did I lose it?
No,
But
you're here. We're listening to everything.
No, I had a ding, and I didn't know if that meant I lost my connection.
No.
But
So now you're noticing, you're saying that John Deere stuff, they're starting to close around now today, modern day, present day. Was that something back in the 80s you noticed that was really hard?
Both. I mean, I'm looking at comparison. So now a lot of people know that we're having access to diesel fuel being cut back. We're saying we have plenty, but the world doesn't have plenty, and we need diesel fuel for everything. If we want something shipped from China to us, because we don't make hardly anything here anymore, if we want something, we need diesel to actually move stuff to the diesel. I think they call it in ships, they call it bunker fuel. But when we get stuff over here, we need fuel. And a lot of things that people don't realize is that the farmers need items from all over the world for us to grow crops. And our supplies for some of the chemicals are running out. And the thing that really got me nervous over the weekend, because I was going to call and talk about finance and military, but once I'm trying to get in, so frustrated that I can't get connections. But I'm noticing farmers are not planting corn. So we produce a large portion of the world's corn here in Iowa, and we don't use it just for eating. We use it for making fuel. We use it for making all kinds of stuff. And so locally, there's a farmer that I pay attention to. He's got the best sweet corn. He hasn't planted. So what's happening with our phosphates and stuff that we need to plant? Well, where do we get this stuff from? We get it from around the American Northwest. We have huge mines out there that because of the weather issues we've had and our problem getting water into those regions, which are in drought, we can't get a lot of that material from there. So instead, we were getting it from places like, I think the country's called Iran.
Well, isn't there phosphates? What's that country near? It's in the Africa North. I believe it's in the northwest part of Africa. There's contention there on who owns the land. I think the United States is, but there's a bunch of stuff that's used to make fertilizer. Let me see really quickly. I'll tell you the name. I did some stories on this. You know what I'm talking about there, Snork?
Yes, but so like almost all of the different areas that we can supply this from are having some kind of trauma. So, and another thing that's blowing up really fast in that area is an Ebola epidemic.
Oh God, we're gonna have to get into that. We're gonna have to have Sam Husseini come. There are people who think that Ebola. By the way, it's Western Sahara, right? So Western Sahara and Morocco have a land dispute, and a lot of the resources that come from there help with fertilizer. And I believe that area is under contention right now, that Morocco has taken some of it, but Western Sahara is trying to claim it. So, I mean, and the funny thing is, I don't know why. We do know why we get involved everywhere, because even if we get it, now you're saying we get a lot of the phosphates and the things we need for fertilizer in the northwest of America, right? Like there's some area over there that will help us. So why are we so concerned with controlling stuff that comes out of Africa? Go ahead, Snork.
Because we're running out of our supplies here. Not that the supplies are running dry, but are they available when we need them? And are there blocks to us getting them? If I need to take a truck in and take a load of earth out that it needs to be mined from, what if the price of diesel fuel doubles, which it has? So my price to get that phosphate to my farmer now. So majority of phosphates used in Iowa, Minnesota, Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana. It's a long trip. That's a lot of diesel fuel.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No,
So
you're not wrong.
my alternative is to put it onto a train, which means I've got to move it to someplace that takes a train, and I've got to have the train come across, which is a lot of cost as well. And sorry about that, but we're just, when it starts taking a look at, we're having the other part, Alberta, Canada. We can get stuff from Alberta, Canada. Alberta, Canada has got problems as well. We're almost a civil war point right now between Ottawa and Alberta.
Really?
And
know
Alberta
that.
wants to leave Canada.
Really?
We got to get some Canadians on. Got to get some Canadians.
We got to get some Canadians to listen. By the way, guys,
Hey,
if you
always
want to
get Himbo on.
hey, check out the queue, see if anybody's there. Make sure we know.
I
I want to
don't-
thank
I don't
everybody watching on Rumble. There's been a lot of people watching on the Rumble shows. The numbers there have been a lot better than expected. They've been better than the YouTube numbers. YouTube gives you the ability to as well. Both of them, you can leave a super chat or a Rumble ramp. And all the links down below to help out the show are there. You can see all of my private links. Eventually, we'll get Josh to get something up there. Sleepy J will get something up there so you can leave him a tip. You can't leave him a coffee because as they're suppressing the internet, as our caller Snorky has talked about, they're also suppressing banking. And some people are having problem with Stripe. I've had problem with Stripe, Give, Send, Go, that whole thing. So we'll figure ways around it, like we're figuring ways to get around the issues with the show. But I'll tell you this much, Snorky, it is, and you're an old school listener. You've been around for a while, so thank you so much. Would you?
Quite a lot.
Yeah. Is this the first time we've ever got to talk? I mean, right? No,
Probably.
have we never talked before?
I can't remember if we have or not. Usually just text messages.
I don't know why I thought we might have spoke before. You sound familiar. Maybe we just text. Yeah, maybe we just text messages and stuff. But welcome back, and thank you for following. Thank you for watching the show, calling in. Very interesting stuff. So we'll probably have a couple callers. Let's put a cherry on top of the conversation so we just don't leave it open-ended. But you did call in, and
Okay.
Snorky said he was very concerned with what's going on. And I talked about, how the AI future kind of, coupled with all this kind of shortage of work and our generation not being able to buy houses, the homeless number rising, people's economic status is pretty bad. Do you think that the war in Iran and the Strait of Hormuz being closed is another way of really kind of enhancing this situation that's really bad, Snorky? Or do you think this is just something just general in itself?
Well, I do think it is affecting. Whether they planned it or not, maybe. It's a definite thing that should be considered. Is that it just seems no matter what we're doing, all of our options are getting knocked down, and that is concerning. And AI, I wrote my first AI in 1991. AI can have good uses.
Could
just like a gun. A gun could be used for good or bad. A lot of times bad. Am I wrong? So the initial AI I wrote saved 10 lives a day for decades. So it was, it wasn't going out looking at people's data. It was looking at a manufacturing process to understand how things were changing. And again, there was one that flagged a human to go out and make the decision didn't
Yeah.
act on its own. So
Yeah.
hopefully, if I get the book out on that one, you guys will talk about it on your show.
Yeah, and you know what? Give me the book for sure. Snorky, you're a longtime follower and listener, and obviously you sent a super chat for $10. Throw it back up there, everybody, guys. We really appreciate it. And but it also came with some interesting conversation, and that's the thing that I know that I've been very fortunate to any show that I've been on, whether it be AM Wake Up, when we do the Convo Couch, which is the Truth Wire. The educated audience, the audience that knows what's going on, that doesn't, we get the people who don't want to watch the mainstream, who actually want to hear what's going on, and have appreciated a lot of the work we've been able to do, boots on the ground stuff. But it's very interesting, some of the things you talked about, and I think that it's very, very concerning. AI could be used for good. I think hopefully Johnny will jump in, Johnny Tsunami, because, I always tell the story, Snork, that, just like, you got right now, we're building in our lives. This is the part of the Terminator. Skynet's being built, right? You see people like Sam Altman and Larry Ellison, the second day of Donald Trump. We gotta compete with China and AI. So we're bringing these guys in for a complete utopic world, and we're gonna do it cheaper and better over here. And you hear guys like Larry Ellison talking about, oh my God, everything will be videoed, everything will be filmed. And you said it yourself, AI could be used for good. And it could, but they're using it for bad. They're using it mainly for surveillance, to look over us, to watch over us, because the greatest threat to the empire is its own citizens. The greatest threat to the global elites is humanity. They know that.
Yes.
But Johnny says really quickly, Stork, and I'll give you the last word. He says that no, AI, instead of coming over and taking over us like the Matrix, because it goes from the Terminator to the Matrix, where we become the battery, and the computer, the AI, realize that humanity is not worth saving. Like the one agent says it, a virus. That's what you people are. AI is going to recognize that there's a predator class, a parasitic class, and AI is going to save us and empower we the people, so people like me, Sleepy J, and our caller Snork will be able to spread the love of humanity and stop all this fucking crazy stuff. So that's what Johnny says. AI is coming to save us. Your thoughts? Thank you for calling. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, Snork.
Well, there are multiple types of AI. There's the type that I did, which is a supervisory role, where it was doing something along there. And you consider that like a factory worker. There's another type of AI, like the large language models, that are quite a bit like lawyers arguing in court or clerics arguing about what's going on. And so there are two different really episodes of what's happening out there. And I have to mention Skynet. Did you know Skynet was a real company? Skynet, for a long time, over 15 years, has been tracking all students. Many, I don't know if it's all schools, but many schools across the United States track the location, where they live, what the students are taking, information about the students. And what really concerns me about this is the data is not stored in the United States. It's stored in Mexico, where it could be used for, I worry about it being used to target and kidnap children.
Yeah.
And
you're really getting dark on us now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's dark. They're going to use not just
realism.
to surveil us. They're going to use it to help them, to help the pedophilia class, the parasite class, track and grab more children. Snorky, let's end it there. Thank you so much for taking my call.
I'll call again in a week.
Be a regular, man. Be a regular. And also, Snorky, you talked about, what's the name of the website you can use? It's called Down Detector, that you can look.
Snorky, it got purchased by something called Speed Test. Even if you search for Down Detector, you'll find it, and immediately you're going to see, okay, you just Google up is Amazon Web Services. So when Amazon Web Services go down, all kinds of computer access across the United States goes down. You can look at, I can see, am I on T-Mobile? Am I on Verizon? Am I on MediaCom? I can see right away what kind of signals do I have out there. What's going out there? You don't need to be a professor to know it all. And so it's
Are you a
real quick,
professor?
and you can. I used to be. I'm retired. I'm retired.
Well,
Sounds
we
glorious.
know you're retired, but you're still you're one of those guys who went into retirement just to do more work in the field of humanity, right? He's I gotta retire. I got a lot of shit to do. Usually you retire so you put your feet
Actually,
in the sand, you fish a pole in the water, but not Snork over here. He's now you got a place where you can report your work over here, my friend, in the mornings with us from 8 to 10 Eastern. Snork, thanks so much for calling in, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate really it's people like yourselves that I tell people like Gabrielle and Fred and all these people who followed us and help us and work with us pretty much volunteer their time for free. I'm so grateful. But when you believe in what we're doing, that we're doing good for humanity, and I've been told that stuff, it's kind of rewarding inside. It makes me feel good for all the money that I've lost from working in the restaurant business, just to be here with you beautiful people to do it to get some free coffee. I love you guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks. I'll let some other callers jump in. Have
You
fun.
got it, Snork. We'll see you soon, man. Says they're zapping the internet, Josh. In Venezuela, the energy grid was built by the West before the revolution, before Hugo Chavez came in. And the Venezuelans had said for many years that the Americans on building the energy grid had planted bugs in there so they could zap it at time. How about that? We have a call?
Hey, you're live. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
You there?
Can you hear us?
This message has been transcribed.
Josh, say something for 2 seconds. I just want to refresh my coffee, okay? Guys, thanks for calling in. 561-247-2721. 561-247 Bernie Sanders Blackjack.
That's how I would remember the number now. It's a good way. That's a good way to remember it. So I hope everyone's having a great morning, getting some good breakfast, some coffee, tea, whatever your weapon of choice is. Come on, Pasta. You know I'm not good at monologue. All right, so call us 561-247-2721. Lines are open. No topic off limits, so anything y'all want to talk about.
Hey, got that cup of coffee. Woo! Where's Fred Edward? Where the fuck is Fred?
He's got a case of the Mondays.
A case of the Mondays. I don't believe I could say that. I believe I'd get my ass kicked if I said that. See, there's so many different sound bites. All right, so Josh, he got the weekend off from doing work from us because he had to do lawn work, so we didn't say anything. But this week we're just gonna we have to go through our checklist, Josh.
Oh,
Sleepy.
There's Fred.
You got a checklist.
Hey, I got most of my weekly checklist done last week.
We didn't create a new one.
It's a running.
Dude, Snorky's been watching the show for a while. Professor Snork. Well, we got another professor calling in today. Well, somebody we dubbed the professor on WBAI Drive Time. He's going to come join us over here, hopefully, and jump on in. Let's see if he's texting. I'm making sure. Guys,
Jeremy?
Do us a favor. Share the YouTube. Share the Rumble. Get it out. Let people know that we'll be here for them. We'll wait. We'll wake up and. Do we have a Facebook watcher yet? Not yet. I got to get back on Facebook. That's the whole thing that I'm dreading. Getting back on Facebook. We started the Convo Couch on Facebook, though, Sleepy.
Really?
Right? Yeah. That's where we were. We were like Bernie Sanders Facebook people, and
Crazy.
That's where we started it. And then we eventually shifted on over to YouTube so we can deal with all their suppression, demonetization. And by the way, they still have our channel, The Truth Wire, which is the Convo Couch demonetized. Isn't that fucking crazy to think about that?
All right,
Still demonetized.
That's what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Kevin from Rockaway.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, first time to the show. You'll know him. You'll love him just like we do. We call him the professor over at WBAI Drive Time. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin from Rockaway is on the line. How you doing, Kev? Good morning.
Oh man, let me tell you something, man. Great show, and it is great to be a part of it. I'm a real Luddite. I don't have social media. I don't have a YouTube account. I don't have any of that stuff. I'm a terrestrial guy. I'm still from the 20th century. You know what I mean? And I got to tell you, Snork was fantastic. And you know what? Not for nothing, Pasta. You're a better looking guy than I imagined. You know, I kind of imagined a little bit of a Jardula, but I mean, you're all right. You know what I mean?
Kev.
Okay. What's
so
happening,
great, Kev,
brother?
because somebody called in last week who listened, Bob, right? We call him Entenmann Bob from Ossining, and his name is
Bill.
Bob Riley. Bill, sorry,
Bill.
I'm fucking. That's Bill Riley, not O'Reilly, just Bill Riley. Entenmann Bill, right? I'm thinking about Donut Bob from a different show. Sorry, Entenmann Bill from Ossining. He goes, hey, I listened to the WBAI show. He called in for the first time. Somebody else from WBAI called in for the first time. And I realized just now, Kev, like, holy shit, that's right. They've only heard my voice. So they had to imagine what I look like. You people get to actually see what I look like. And really, to tell you the truth, Kev, I wanted to do a show. People are like, why did you start a morning show? Because I just wanted to have a show where I could wear my cool sunglasses. And I got like 12 pair of cool sunglasses.
I put a pair of sunglasses on, too, in case you could see me, because I have no idea what's going on in the world. Listen, this Snork hit some really great points, man. It's some really great points. Now, I don't know if there's anything you want to ask me, but if you want,
let's stay with the conversation. Let's stay with the conversation. You got it, Professor.
Yeah.
Go where you got to go, baby.
Yeah. And just for your listeners out there, when he says professor, he's being hyperbolic. I mean, I'm just a guy from New York who
he's a guy that lays knowledge on us every single time he calls, knows exactly what's going on, could read the room. And the reason why I love Kev and the reason why I wanted him to be a part of this is because I do believe his heart is in the right place. That to me is one of the most important things out there. You know, Kevin, really quickly, I just want to say, like, I've been bashing on a lot of these populist right people, the ones who are conflating anti-Semitism with anti-Zionism, right? Like the Candace Owens, the Nick Fuenteses, the Myron Gaines, these people over here, Dan Bilzerian, right? And I think it's very important to kind of call them out because I don't believe you fight, bigotry with more bigotry. If you start scapegoating the Jews, the next thing you know, you're always scapegoating the immigrant, you're scapegoating somebody. And there's a big difference between a Jew and a Zionist, and I've been very tough on them. But there is one guy among them. His name is Sneeko, right? I believe Sneeko's heart is in the right place. So I would love to do something, talk with Sneeko, whatnot. But that's what really made me kind of like gravitate towards you and happy that you called, because I believe, ladies and gentlemen, this caller, Kevin, because this is not going to be his first and only time calling, believe you me. We will have disagreements at times, but we'll agree on a lot. His heart is in the right place. So I want to build a community where I feel that people with their heart is in the right place. And this is what we build, and we build it together, because just like I talk about drive time on WBAI, it's not my time, it's our time. This is about reshaping the landscape of media and getting the real conversations out there, the things that we really need to talk about. Because when you watch mainstream media, and I'll hand it over to you, Kev, the professor, it's shit. It is divisiveness, bait, shit. And that's what's really going the fuck on right now, because the older generation doesn't plug into the interwebs like we do. They're stuck and they're told what's going on with that over there. And now we got a bunch of older people, who are holding on to all their finances and all their stuff, whatnot, right? You know what I'm saying? While we got a bunch of younger people who are just, what is the phrase called, Sleepy Josh? A bunch of temporary millionaires?
Temporarily embarrassed.
Temporary broke millionaires. You said it yesterday, Kev.
Yeah.
What's the saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Yeah. Temporarily inconvenienced millionaires, or whatever you want to.
That's what we got. We got to fight it. We got to push back. That's what the show's about. Go ahead, Professor.
And it really is about education, and I think that as Snorky was saying, some of the things he was talking about, I was thinking about, and I was saying, my whole life growing up, I'm the youngest of 6. We grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment, which was small. That was, listen, we were living life of luxury in Brooklyn because my father was one of 12 and my mother was one of 7 in the Depression in Brooklyn, where they grew up in railroad flats with the cold water and the whole thing, the bathtub in the kitchen, the whole thing, right? But the thing was is that before World War II, we were able to mechanize for the Second World War because we still had the steel industry. We still had all these industries, which I think that's you and Snorky were talking about. Now, One of the things I remember noticing, one of the first things I remember noticing is that I always wore Chuck Taylors. The Chuck Taylors.
I had about 7 pair of those. And one summer camp, I was wearing a different color shoe from each foot. Like I grabbed the blue one, wear with the red one, get the pink one, Chuck Taylor Converse, baby.
Well, listen, if you went to Mays on 14th Street in Manhattan, they would sell you the sneakers $2.99 per shoe. So you had the, if you got the PF Flyers and it were black and they were a size 7, it was $2.99 for the right foot and $2.99 for the left foot. But the funny thing is what I'm trying to say is that, they after NAFTA and they offshored. Now these sneakers. Now maybe these people weren't making. Look, and this goes back to what you were saying, what we were talking about with the inconvenience millionaires.
Mm-hmm.
The problem we have, one of the big problems we have in this country is that nobody's happy with making a living. Everybody wants to make a killing. You know what I mean? And
jet skis. That's why they want jet skis. What's wrong with that, Professor?
They want what?
Jet skis. They want jet skis.
Ah.
Jet skis is a sign of individual wealth, right? If you own a fucking jet ski, that means you got shit settled, that you have enough money to buy a jet ski.
Yeah. I guess I'm a hippie. I'm a surfer. I live in Rockaway Beach, New York. Like we don't like those motors going through the water and messing with, messing with the wildlife and running over dolphins and stuff like that. But if that's what you're into, that's what you're into. I'm not gonna pass judgment on you. But
to your point, nobody wants to just make a living. They want to make a killing because that's what they see. No, that's what they're programmed. That's the carrot that's wiggled in front of their face, Kev. Can you blame them? Please continue.
No, absolutely. I mean, listen, that's the way I grew up. When I grew up, I remember my first political hero was probably one of the most corrupt mayors of New York City. His name was Jimmy Walker. And they romanticized him because he used to write songs too. They called him Bo James and this and that. The guy was a Tammany Hall crook. But I was like, oh, this guy, he's, like this, it's the whole outlaw spirit, right? But what I'm trying to say is that when say Chuck Taylor, when they moved from the United States, and I was wearing them I started working when I was 12, 13 years old. I was buying my own sneakers, okay? Because my old man was having a heart, whatever. He took care of us.
For $2.99 a right foot, $2.99 a left foot. And by the way, I said, Kevin, I was saying the older crowd doesn't come on the interwebs. They watch the TV. And both you and Snork have kind of already let the cat out of the bag about your age. You're not spring chickens over here. If you're buying sneakers for $2.99,
I'm only 58. But I do have to tell you that most of the best minds I know are not on the internet at all, and are not on any social media at all. And I'm one of them, and that's for a different reason. But the reason the thing is that for 20 years of me buying these Chuck Taylors, they were always $20. It was $20 for a pair of Chuck Taylors, and you went through them in a year or whatever. And then at the time, there were actually shoe stores that would resell them and stuff like that. Now, after NAFTA, when they moved it to China, which was supposed to be saving us all this money, the working class, all this money, they went from $20. It went from $20 a pair to $30 a pair, and they said, "Oh no, this is going to be good for everybody. Everybody's going to do fine." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a joke, because really, we are not prepared, as we've seen in Iran, and listen, and please do not just make the mistake that I'm supporting what's going on in Iran and stuff like that, with us prematurely bombing them and all that stuff. But we used to be able to manufacture here. We don't manufacture here no more. And the only way we're going to manufacture here anymore is once they've destroyed the last union, you know? And it's always been my contention that, we really need to start looking at ourselves as working class people. Like my father taught me, he said, there's two kinds of people in the world. There's those who work and there's those who don't. You work, they don't. They sit back and they smoke their cigars and they make their money, and it's all, and all the things, eggs, bread, milk, all the necessities of life keep going up in price, but they can make 3,000 changes on the stock market a day without paying a nickel tax. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, they've also have ways to hide, all their profits and not have to pay the taxes that we have to pay and whatnot. But I think Americans, you talk about those who pay, those who work, and those who don't. That's the thing. Everybody wants that. They've given a new name, right? I just want to find some passive income, passive income, Professor. Let me find a way where my money can work for me, so I can just sit back. And there is a form of that for people who got a few bucks. It's called the stock market, right? Like, they just kind of gamble. They don't work. They sit back. And now with the insider trading, those who don't work still continue not to work while we work now. And it's interesting because you said that the manufacturer will come back when the unions are completely destroyed, meaning they want a form of like feudalism, like slave labor, whatnot, non-organized labor. So therefore they can do what they're doing in China, just do it at home right now. And we are kind of moving towards that direction, right? The factories are going to come home now because the ruling class, the ownership class, the bourgeoisie can get that same cheap labor here at home because we're so desperate now because there's so many people unemployed, homeless, and there is no middle class anymore. We only have a lower class, that we can bring our factories back home now. And that labor we get cheap in China, we can now get here in the homeland. It seems like that is the next move.
Yeah. Well, I mean, China is, it used to be in the United States, if the coal mining company, say in West Virginia or something, the coal mining company in Mingo County was getting pressured by the United Coal Workers, union. What they would do is they would just move 20 miles down the road, and they would just go, okay, now we're in another county, and we'll just open up here, and you can work the script, and you can pay off your, pay off all your debt in company script. Now, what I'm trying to say is that is that I would just say to people, I'm sorry, it's still a little early. I'm a little undercaffeinated.
I was going to say, we get you here early in the morning. It's a different thought process than with WBAI. It's like 4:00. We're already
right.
pumped up, and we've gotten so much information. Now we're like waking up and getting the information out.
And I'm moving. But what I just wanted to say that, like, guys, listen. They're going to call you a socialist. They're going to call you a communist. They're going to call you this. They're going to call you that. Anybody who's ever traveled knows that that's all a bunch of nonsense. right? If you've been to Ireland, if you've been to Israel, if you've been to Italy, if you've been to any of these places where they have national health care, you realize that it works just fine. It works just fine. Now, if you're one of the housewives of New Jersey or something, where all you do is get your lips filled and your butt filled and your tits filled, all right, that's a different thing. Okay, so there's a place for that. That private kind of health. I don't consider that healthcare. That's cosmetic, But what I'm trying to say is that there's two kinds. Listen, our only enemy. There's only one side. There's a war going on, okay? And it ain't between Iran and the United States. It's between the working class and the Epstein class.
There you
and
go.
The Epstein class, because the Epstein class, when they show that, when you see on Netflix right now, or whatever, FDR, Theodore Roosevelt, all the rich people, Kennedy, the people that turned around and said, no, they should, you know what they're all called? Class traders. And you know what we're called when we, lucky bastard, But I just wanted to call and support Pasta because, you're the greatest. And this show is gonna blow up. I'm telling you, man. And I'll try and get some more coffee in me before I call next time.
Dude, you're doing great. Look what we put up on the screen. The working class versus the Epstein class. That's the title of that last segment. And I think we're going to have to go with that theme. Kev, man, thanks so much for calling in. Please be a regular over here. I know you got a lot of stuff going on. You're a family man, so you got to take care of things in the morning. So if you're listening in, I'm happy. But if you call in, I'm even more happier. I really do enjoy what you've done over at WBI and Drive Time over there at 4 p.m. Eastern on WBAI 99.5. Can't see us on that show. You can only hear us. But really, you've made that show a lot of fun and a success to the point where, even Bill said, Enderman Bill, who listens to the show, he said, if you don't call in, the phone lines there are jammed up, and they're jammed up quickly because it's only 1 hour once a week. It's a shame we can't get more time over there, but we'll do it over here. If you don't go to the mountain, we'll bring the mountain to you. But thank you so much for making my life a lot better and giving me a lot of joy and fulfillment, because this type of show right here, this call-in show, it's the funnest thing I've ever done, Kevin. Really, I feel like we're doing some real work over here because we get to talk about what needs to be talked about, where the mainstream media talks about what they don't want. It's not what they're talking about over there. It's what they're not talking about over there. And that's what makes this show important. Thank you so much, Kev.
Likewise, Pasta. And if I just may say two very quick more things.
We have 2 hours over here. You can say as much as you want, Professor. Keep going.
I'm so used to worrying about Jeff from you're
worried about the time over at WBAI, right? It's different. So.
Listen, one thing to think about, guys, is if you're a worker, you owe your allegiance to the working class, okay? And the other thing is, there's a famous saying, because Mark Fisher, the late Mark Fisher, who was my age, by the way. I mean, he took his own life. Who wrote the seminal book of the last 20 years called Capitalist Realism. He said it's easier to imagine the end of the world than it is to imagine the end of capitalism. As Lenin said, there are weeks when nothing happens.
Yep.
Or there are decades when nothing happens, and there are weeks when decades happen.
Yep.
And we just have to look for that opportunity and stay in with each other. Don't get caught up in this English speaking versus non-English speaking, and foreign born versus native born. We're all working class people. We're all in the same boat, and there's only one side shooting, and that's the Epstein class, and that's why they're winning. Thanks a lot, brother.
We used to call them, Kevin, the Predator class before we called them the Epstein class. The Epstein class was just so people can plug it in, but we called them the Predator class before that. That's a Jason Burmis saying. Kevin, the professor, thank you so much for calling in from Rockaway, New York, baby. We had Iowa and New York call in today. The Cornhuskers, well, that's Nebraska, sorry. The Hawkeyes versus, let's say, NYU, the Purple Violets, which is New York.
I don't know.
University.
Let's go Knicks. That's all I know.
Baby,
Yeah.
all right. Fuck, let's go, baby. Wednesday, let's go. Knicks in 5. Knicks in 5.
You got him going.
Oh,
Thank you.
Captain Clutch, Jalen Brunson. You know, Kevin, it's such a high character team, right? Like it's just good kids there. Jalen Brunson. This, you know, I mean, most of your NBA stars, like your Michael Jordans, your Charles Barkleys, your Akeem Olajuwons,
Right.
Patrick Ewings, these guys are top 5 picks. These are lottery picks.
Yeah.
If you don't know, Jalen Brunson, they said he was too small, too slow, didn't have the handles. He won 2 titles at Villanova, right? And now he was a second-round pick. He was like in the 30s. And now he's leading the charge for the New York Knicks. Josh Hart, who's considered one of the greatest guys in the leagues. There was a basketball player named Michael Beasley who had really big mental problems. I saw him on a podcast recently, and he was talking about, you know, how the culture was. He goes, but Josh Hart was one of those guys who would come talk to me if you need to talk to me. He recognized his mental illness, and Josh is like, I'm here for you if you need me. That guy is also on the Knicks, and his game is about, you know, he's the best rebounding two guard or small forward in the league. It's just working class, getting his elbows dirty. And then you got Mikal Bridges, who plays defense, two-way player.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just good character team. I'm sorry, Kev. The Villanova Knicks. Let's go.
No. Yeah. No, I just wanted to say, you know, we were talking about the similarities between Messier and Mark
Brunson.
Messier, who was the number 11, and Jamin Brunson, who was number 11. You know, Mark Messier, who won the Hart Trophy, which is the most valuable player in the league, won 6 Stanley Cups, is the only NHL player to ever captain 2 teams to the Stanley Cup championship. His first year in the league, he scored 1 goal. Yeah. So.
And Mark Messier, when he went over and won it for the Rangers, that was kind of like a borrowed thing, right? He was an Edmonton Oiler for years. They brought him on over. Come on. Help on out. Help us win a championship. That was like a purchase. Get us one. He did the job. He got him the title, and that was great. You know what I'm saying? That New York did it. This is something different right now because they're going to play the San Antonio Spurs, who have also got this kid, Victor Wembanyama, right? Of African descent from France. Great-hearted kid. I saw a tweet that said the Knicks are 4 games away from winning their first championship since 1973, and the only thing standing in their way is a 9-foot French alien who knows how to block everything coming his way. But we're talking about young teams that are building for the future, that this might happen for a while. They might be on a collision course. They might do this again next year. I mean, that's how good these teams are. But the foundation that they're building, it's really amazing, and it's fun. I know it's bread and circuses, Kevin. We can get ourselves in trouble, but I'm going to still have fun with it, you know?
Thanks, Craig. I've taken enough time. I want to hear more people, and I love your show, and you got From Now On an everyday listener. All right, brother.
You got it, Kevin. Professor Rockaway, we love you. Man, sorry. We start talking basketball, the numbers go down. You guys are just policy, political wonks out there, guys. We want you to give us a call, 561-247-2721, 561-247-2721. That's 561-247 Bernie Sanders Blackjack. It's you laugh every time, but it's stuck in the head.
You've got his voice down pretty well, man.
I used to, when you guys did get your shit together, I called in a couple times. Hello, this is Bernard Sanders here. Israel has a right to exist. However, yeah, that's a great thing, Bernie. Man, what a disappointment. What a disappointment. What a fucking
they all talk out both sides of
operation.
their damn mouth.
But Donald Trump had the same job as Bernie Sanders. They only cease to exist to walk people back into the two-party duopoly. And tomorrow I got a guy calling in, a friend of mine. You know, it's kind of cool that on the show last week I said I got to have one of my mentors on. DJ Stevie D'Angelo called on in. And that's a guy who was an older guy, who's about 5-6 years older than me, was like a big brother, really gave me my voice, gave me a chance on this pirate radio station. He just always had a good heart. It was awesome to have him in here. But the guy who's going to call in tomorrow, and I got a chance to call him and say thank you several months ago, John Alexander, he's going to be calling in tomorrow. He was a friend in high school. And I grew up in Boca Raton, Florida. In my school, it was like really trendy and cliquey and whatnot. And it was almost like the Breakfast Club, right? Like, remember the part where Molly Ringwald sold, I can't be friends with you here I could be friends with you in detention on a Saturday. But when we go to school around all my other friends, I can't let them know that I'm your friends. That's what it was kind of like in my high school growing up, right? Boca Raton. But John didn't care. John was my friend. He didn't give a fuck what other people thought and weren't going to tell him who his friends were going to be, even if it was like a nerd like myself, a kid who wasn't that popular. I wasn't like a really nerd. I was between the nerds and the popular kids. I was somewhere in between. I was like I am on the show, the Everyday American, right? Somewhere in between.
You'll talk to anybody.
Yeah, right? I was somewhere there. But John was my friend, and I got to say thank you. I can count on my hand, like Stevie D and John are on my hand, for people out there who helped me grow, get my own voice, have confidence in myself, love myself, you know what I'm saying? Because you can be down on yourself. And by loving myself, I had the ability to learn how to love others. I'm in a good spot because of these guys. And tomorrow he'll be calling the show. And I said call with Nico House because he is a lesser of two evil guy that you should vote for the Democrats. We were talking on the phone yesterday. And I said, he was like, well, you got to pick a team. You got to choose a side. If I choose a third party, my vote's nowhere, whatnot. The marketing says one thing, but I got to pick one or the other. And we're going to have that conversation with Nico House tomorrow here at Drive Time. So you'll be able to check it on out, guys. Listen, we want you to call in. We've had 2 callers so far, 561-247-2721. We have anybody on the hold yet, Josh, or nobody?
No.
So somebody's got to do some work out there. We need a phone call. You want to talk about what's going on in Albania, the Albanians protested against the Trump administration. You want to talk about what's going on in Colombia. Colombia is interesting because Colombia does have a system, Josh, the voting system, where you go to your designated polling spot. They send you to a mesa, which is a table. At the mesa, which is table in Spanish, there's all different people represented from the different parties there to watch you. They have, I think, 300 to 400 ballots on the table. You take your ballot. They check you off. You must have ID. You do your vote. You put it in the ballot box. And at the end of the day, each table opens up and they count in front of everybody. Everybody can witness this. The only thing is the official count is when they bring it back and they report it to the mainframe station. They'll eventually bring all the ballots over there to count them. But all the ballots are counted beforehand in the precinct. Me and Fiorella were taking pictures of each table. So we were at one precinct when it was closed, and we were able to give you the count of that one precinct to the T. Very easy. We took pictures of everything. It's a very transparent system. However, in Colombia, the final official count is the account they get back at the machine. So that's where they can change numbers if you're not active together and you're not doing your work. As a party, I told the party, the Petro party, the people who were voting for Petro last time after the first round, instead of spending your money on this and that, spend your money, have 2 people at every single precinct, have them take pictures of everything. So if they try to change the count back in central tabulation, you have all the evidence to fight it right there. So whatever's going on, there is a backstop. There is a security blanket. You know what I'm saying? The people of Colombia have the ammunition. They have the ability to have a real audit. It's not like the United States where it's proprietary software from proprietary ownership. You don't know who owns it. You can't see the software. You just got to take the private equity firm's word that these are the real numbers. So therefore, Thomas Massey will lose to our good friend from Israel because Israel has a right to exist. And you have to take those numbers and ugats. You can't fucking audit the system. And who cares if it's the guy from Blackstone, one of the Sam Khan, who started the private equity company that owns the software and the hardware that does the votes in Thomas Massey's 4th Congressional District. Who cares if he had a relationship in modern litho which is the ballot-making company that provides the ballots in the 4th Constitutional Congress of Kentucky, where Thomas Massey has now lost. Who cares if the numbers don't make sense? You just got to take their word. So anybody who goes, do you think the 2022 election wasn't fair? Do you think it was rigged? Yeah, I do. That's just crazy. How do you know it's real? Can you confirm the numbers that were given to you? No, you can't. You can't. I can't confirm and look under the hood and show you that it was fraudulent, and you can't confirm that it's real. That's what our elections are like in the United States. Hey, you get lots, nothing. You take the word of a private equity firm and you shut the fuck up. And there are smart, intelligent people who are arguing on the behalf of a predator class fucking company where a publicly funded elections, you pay for it, but it's a private company that gets to tell you the results. Tell me how that's fucking real.
I mean, we don't even do exit polls. We don't even do exit polls anymore. We don't even do exit polls anymore in coup countries when they like differ by like 1%.
Yes. Our elections are the worst. And I think with this time, it just showed you that it's not Democrat versus Republican. It's the establishment versus the people.
Yes.
And people are cornholed into saying, just like they're cornholed into saying, oh my God, you got to take a vaccine. This is science. What's wrong? Same thing with elections. You got to be crazy that it's rigged. How about this one? They only cheat Bernie Sanders. By the way, the number is 561-247 Bernie Sanders Blackjack. That's 561-247 Bernie Sanders Blackjack. 2721. Every donation is around the average of $27. That's how we take back our country. Where you
got
at,
a
people?
little Nixon in there too.
Tricky Dick. I need to get more coffee over here, but I need phone callers, guys. We can't do the show without you. Where is Entenmann Bill? Somebody's got to talk about something. We had Snorky call in today. That was fun. Talked about the concern moving forward as a society. And every single time we have conversations, I was having a conversation with my producer, Gabrielle, the other day, and we're talking about like the future. We're talking about the present, where to live, what's going on. The whole environment we are kind of living in right now. And this is why I'm saying eventually one day, when all my responsibilities are taken care of over here, I'm going to sell every little asset I have, sell it the fuck off, Josh, Sleepy, and get the fuck out. Right. I'm not sticking around this neck of the woods. I love Florida. I appreciate Florida. I used to make fun of Florida. They really stood up in COVID, but even still, the mines are still infested over here. Yeah, you can get to beaches. And I'm looking out my window over here, not the window behind me. But what I'm looking at over there almost looks identical to what's behind me right now. I see the Atlantic Ocean. It's calm. It's cool. The sun is beating off it. It's fucking amazing. It's beautiful. And when you live in Florida, wherever you live in Florida, the longest trip to a beach is probably an hour and a half, right? Because it'll probably take you 3 hours to get across the whole country itself. So wherever you live, you're less than 2 hours away from a beach. That's an asset. That's amazing. However, Florida's got their Gusano problem. They got their freaking theocrat problem. They got their Zionist problem. So it's just America that's got all those problems. And one day, for me, I want to live in Nicaragua, San Juan del Sur. I'm getting myself as healthy as I can, my skin, all these problems, whatnot, so I can just get into that water every day. I want to go diving for rock lobsters, then bring them back and make pasta and lobster raviolis and sell it to people and have a good time with it and just love and live. And yeah, that's my dream. San Juan del Sur. I could even live in Peru too. Miraflores is fun. I don't know. It's just another vibe out there. And as a gringo, as long as you're trying to speak, you're using the right accent, you're being kind and loving and not being a stupid fucking idiot, you're accepted there. Part of the class, the B-52s. What's that? The rock lobster. Ooh, because they don't have those main lobsters. They have the rock lobster, like one giant tail, right? Yeah, B-52s. Boom, boom, boom. But that's the one thing that sucks about being on the interwebs and YouTube. that's really cool on the radio. On the radio, I get to use the Wu-Tang. I get to use different songs for my intros. Can't do that here. Copyright infringement here in YouTube. Can't do that. Bastards. Let me tell you something. Let's talk for a second. Can we talk, Josh? Let me know when there's a caller. Guys, we need somebody to call in 561-247-2721. 561-247-2721. Let me say something here. And by the way, got 17 people on YouTube, got 18 people on Rumbles. A lot of people on the Rumbles, and thank you so much. Good morning. I got some texts from some people over here, guys. I really appreciate this. Whether you're watching on Rumble, whether you're watching on YouTube, or whether you're watching on Facebook, which we have 0 watchers. We got to get somebody on Facebook. Facebook is crazy. I was going to say something. Okay, so what has really disappeared during the Trump administration? This is the great Houdini. This administration has been worse than the last administration, which I didn't even think was possible. Joe Biden and what happened and so many things that were going on foreign policy-wise. I mean, the Russia-Ukraine situation really hit to another level under Joe Biden. Antony Blinken, Victoria Nuland. Victoria Nuland was in there during the Obama administration pushing for that color revolution, handing out cookies on the Maidan, saying F the EU, picking their new leader. I mean, this is just ridiculous if you sit there and say, oh, they're our brother in arms, all these fucking stupid Democrats with the anti-fucking Russian. And I'm not pro-Russian, I'm pro-truth. We're responsible for that. That's more of the empire's behavior.
All right, we got a caller.
Why do you think it's different? Let's get a caller here. Who's calling? Where you calling from?
Yeah, but oh my goodness, I can't even do it. I'm not caffeinated enough. Fred,
Take
I'm
your
calling
time,
from
Fred.
Evansville. Good morning. I'm
Fred
feeling
from
bad for you 'cause
Indiana?
you're talking to yourself. Yes, Fred from Indiana.
What did he say that y'all are laughing at?
I said I'm feeling bad for you because you're talking to yourself. I had to call.
Well, thank you so much. It's funny because I just right now when you called in, I said, let me go get another cup of coffee real quick. I was going to leave you to talk to Josh for just 2 seconds while I refill my
Go
coffee.
Get your coffee.
I could do that.
Go
And
get
by
your
the way,
coffee
guys,
in that one-of-a-kind trip.
where do you get this? Tell people about this mug, Fred. I'll be right back. And say hi to you. Got to get the bird on.
Bird is still asleep. I've been trying to keep her at minimum of 12 hours of nighttime. She has decided that she wants to make a nest. And she has been driving me out of my mind.
Man, birds are great.
She goes, I love her. I do love her. And this is, 14 years. She's going to be 14 this month. And it's the first time she's ever done this.
Wow.
And she is trying to get behind the bookshelf, behind the couch cushions. On top of the bookshelf, under pillows. She landed on a paper bag that was just kind of sitting between the chair and a table and crashed to the floor.
Oh
The
my
look
God.
on her face, she was totally shocked when the floor literally fell out from under her.
That's great.
I hear that. Fred
Does your bird like rip up paper?
She's not so big on shredding paper. She loves cardboard.
I've got a friend
Loves
with a
cardboard.
macaw, and every time I call him, she starts just beating on a cowbell. Dude, it's great.
You're talking about Midler, huh?
Some of them,
Nah, different bird, but yes.
Fred,
but yeah.
can you tell everybody how Midler saved your life?
She got me out of the house. She was able to get me out of the house. I had real bad anxiety and depression, and I couldn't go out in public without freaking out. I'd black out. I found myself more than once under medical care because people didn't know what was going on with me. I'd lock up and just disappear, kind of go into a black hole. And my cousin found someone with a similar issue who had one of Midler's siblings and reacted when his medical condition flared up. and Midler did that for me. I'd start to go into a hole. It's only happened once since I got her, but I start to go into a hole, and it just darkness. And I heard Midler screaming, and visually I saw her blood and feathers shredding and teeth. And I realized that she wasn't in the hole, I was, and pulled me out. And I started to get out in public, and I actually got off the medication, which turns out was making me worse. But she traveled with me for 13 years everywhere I went. And she still does, but I'm not, right now after the operation, I'm still not quite ready to get back on the bus yet, just because I can't physically walk to the bus stop. But yeah, she made it possible for me to get out again and take care of myself.
Yeah. And I got to meet you and Midler at the Third Eye Carnival in Tennessee while we were hanging out in tornado warnings. And we got to stay together, room together, hang together. And it was even though there was tornado warnings and water and wetness every place, and it was scary at times, it was some of the most fun time I had in a while. And it was great hanging with you, man. And it was Anna Maris was there. So I got to see seeing Fred and Anna at the same place. And these are people like Gabrielle and Snorky, who have been around since the beginning. You know, I still think that Gabrielle Freedom is probably the first person ever. Like, I think like when we were watching Facebook, I think our first Facebook show she was on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Fred, you came along pretty quickly too. And you've been around for a while, but it was kind of cool seeing these people who've supported us and really changed my life. You know, I'd be in the restaurant business right now selling steaks if it wasn't for Fred Edward and Gabrielle Freedom and other people like them. I appreciate that.
Well, I actually started watching Nico when he was still broadcasting from his car.
Yeah, I remember that. Holy cow!
And as I want to say that I was watching the Combo Couch before you joined MCSC Network, but I'm not positive.
Okay,
but I know
you weren't around that much longer.
Part of MCSC.
Yeah. We joined that pretty early, by the way. You know, Nico had found us pretty early. We used Nico's YouTube in the very beginning before we used our own YouTube to get things going. So, you know, I remember that. That's back.
Well, then I probably was watching before you joined the MCSC officially. Because like I say, I laugh every time I think about how far Nico has come and how much he's grown.
Yeah, yeah. He's,
you know, when he was, you know, like I say, doing YouTube from his car.
I remember that. He would do it in his car.
And just, you know, there weren't many watchers. He had a few people who were sponsoring him and helping him out, and now he's got a family, 3 kids. I mean, and living in fucking Brazil, the lucky bastard.
So we're in Brazil. We're there for the election, and Nico's coming to town. I'm like, "Oh, you coming for the election?" He's like, "No, I'm coming to a wedding," and it's a guy by the name of Mook Juice, who was on Twitter all the time, on our YouTube channel. So we got to meet Mook Juice and his beautiful wife-to-be with Nico in Brazil, in Sao Paulo. And Nico he went there. He's like, I'm moving back. I'm moving there. He went back to Florida just to close up all his stuff, close up shop, and he moved back to Brazil. And he's been there ever since. He loves it. He's got 3 kids. It's an amazing story. It's fun. And he's old school. And he'll be here tomorrow, by the way, guys. That's our co-host for Tuesdays, Nico House. Very awesome thing to ask people to be a co-host for the show. The first 4 people I asked all said yes. So I had first 4 slots kind of closed up right away. I really didn't push for anything else after that. I said, just let me leave Monday open for now, and we'll figure out everything. Because people will feel sorry for me if I'm not speaking to anybody, and they'll call in like Fred just did. And I'll be okay. Fred, we've talked about you. We've talked about Midler. We've talked about the Third Eye Carnival. Is there anything in particular that's on your mind that you would like to talk about that's happening in the political world or the whatever world or something? Or because I made it all about you, and I know you can talk about yourself when you're asked. But if there's something that you wanted to talk about, Please fire away. Anything interesting on your mind?
Well, my biggest personal concern. I mean, well, biggest concern for all of us is what is going to happen when the oil, the reserves, the strategic oil reserves actually run out. Trump administration has released, I don't know, 17,000 barrels of oil from the reserves to stabilize the price at the pump.
People aren't paying attention to that, by the way, Fred. What you just said. Can you, ladies and gentlemen, I want Fred to say it again. How many barrels from the reserve has Donald Trump released, Mr. Fred?
I heard 17,000 barrels.
Wow.
Guy generally has his the documentation receipts to back up what he says, and it's to keep the price at the pump low because the barrel price has been bouncing around in the predictive market. I mean, it was in the 60s before the Iran invasion or the Iran attack. It's not invasion. They haven't been able to keep any troops on the ground, so it's not an invasion yet.
The bombing campaign.
I don't think they'll be able to do that. Oh yeah, the bombing campaign. But they've cut off all the oil coming out of Qatar, UAE, Kuwait. Some is still coming out from Saudi Arabia. Iran is still producing some. It's also natural gas. Qatar was providing like 20% of the natural gas in the market, the global market. And then we talk about the byproducts of the oil business, of sulfur, urea, helium even, coming out of the Gulf states. And all of these things are important for other industries. You got the sulfur and urea responsible for fertilizers. Fertilizer production. And that's shot the cost of fertilizer for our farmers up through the roof. That helium is involved in computer chip manufacturing.
We haven't felt this yet.
The cascading effect. What's that?
We haven't felt this yet. This hasn't got to the American consumer yet, right? Even though the gas is up about 40%, gas is up about 35, 40%, and the reserves are keeping it from going up 100% because, and people should be, and you know what they say? Hey, you know what? This is short-term pain for the long-term gain, Fred Edward. That's what this is about. It's ridiculous.
Go ahead. The only gain is the oligarchs.
Mm-hmm. And people are
playing the stock market and playing the derivatives and shorts
people are so cultish insane. That I saw somebody, and I was hoping that he called in. I had a good conversation with a guy who actually was a teacher at one of my schools, my high school, for my first 2 years. He taught computers back when there was back in the late 80s, early 90s. That's, because I graduated in 91. And we were having a conversation. And this is interesting because we're going to have some conversations tomorrow. We'll talk about the lesser of two evils. And we'll talk about, especially when Nico's here, when a black man says, well, I have to pick a side, I'm going to pick the side that is the least racist. We see what the Trump administration is doing, very xenophobic, very racist and stuff. And I always say, yeah, but the Democrats policy-wise are just as racist. We'll have that conversation tomorrow. The conversation I was hoping to have today, Fred, was with a guy who says, well, we got to stop Iran from having a nuclear weapon. Like, they're parroting exactly what Donald Trump is saying. And the only reason why they're doing that is because their ego, they can't put their ego in check quick enough, or I should say, they just can't put their ego in check enough to say, hey, I made a wrong fucking choice here. I backed the wrong pony. At the end of the day, none of these ponies were the ponies. And that's my whole argument. We had Obama on the left. We did the same thing. We had to look in the mirror and say, yo, I fucked up. There's a lot of people out there that refuse to do that right now, Fred. They just keep parroting on the new bullshit talking points. And I consider these people to be smart people that are fucking just so cultish that they're going to go along and they're going to even repeat the bullshit. Hey, we got to stop Iran from having a nuclear weapon. I mean, what do you say to a person like that? Anybody want to throw in an idea? What do you say to a person like that?
White House. Yeah, it's the talking point that's coming out of the White House and everybody in the administration. I mean, Bessent's even talking about it. This lunatic finance guy that really knows nothing. You know,
Who's that?
They're all saying. I mean, it's Besant.
Yeah.
He's a.
Scott Bessent, yeah.
I don't know. He's one of Trump's appointees.
He's
Secretary
I think
of
he's the
Treasury or
Commerce
something.
Secretary, right? Or is that Lutnick? I get
Commerce
them all mixed
Secretary.
up.
Commerce Secretary. That sounds right. It just they don't. He doesn't know what he's doing. Well, he's good on manipulating currency. He was responsible for the hike in the real in Iran that set off the protests that got infiltrated and turned into the violent riots. And they're still talking about the Iranians killing their own people. You know, talking about Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. If we hadn't gone in, they'd already have one. They don't want one, or actually, they didn't want one.
Yeah,
they have a religious decree against it. It causes potentially too many civilian casualties, and that is against their religious beliefs. You do not harm the innocent. I know this is hard for Americans to understand, but it is a fact. And the corporate media, and I swear, it may not be 100%, but I think it's because of the Smith Modernization Act.
Mm-hmm.
Obama signed it in 2012, and the 2013 NDAA authorized and funds domestic propaganda via the U.S. State Department. U.S. State Department was basically handed over to the CIA under Hillary Clinton's control. And I think they're paying all of the mainstream media to do this messaging. They may not be doing 100% of the broadcast, but you cannot deny that they all come out with the same buzzwords, almost as if they were coordinated. Actually, they have to be coordinated, because there's no way that ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox all come out with the same buzzwords whenever a story changes.
Fred, you're very close to winning the caller of the day here at Drive Time in the mornings, which means we'll send you out a free toaster. Sleepy, let's get his address and get him that toaster. I mean, he's dropping what there was once a so there's a lot of videos out there. I'm in sports right now, and obviously a lot of people talk about bread and circuses. Good morning, by the way, Stephanie Green, 68888. I talked to S Grocery employee yesterday about the oil situation. He was surprised. Yeah, they're keeping people in the dark. It hasn't hit us right here, and people are so ignorant to what's going on. But there's a video out there, guys, and I know I'm just going to make this comparison really quick. And it was Pete Rose talking to Kurt. Is it Fred Tom? Is not what's his name? Kurt Thomas? No, the Big Hurt. Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt. He was playing for the White Sox for most of his career. He's one of the best hitters out there. Alex Rodriguez, the New York Yankee, Texas Ranger, who was out there for a while. He came up with the Seattle Mariners. He's once again a Hall of Famer. And it was Pete Rose talking to these two guys, and he was talking about getting out of a lull, which is a slump. And he was going through all these things like that. And it was amazing what he was saying, because you can understand. He was like, if you're hitting the ball this way, choke up on the bat. If you're hitting it off to this way, move up in the batter's box. And he's like, don't change your swing. That's what got you to the big league. You just got to adjust your stance of what's going on. And at the end of it, and I was just amazed by the conversation, just listening to Pete Rose with these two other guys that were Hall of Famers themselves. And Alex Rodriguez goes, what he just said there was church. This is what we call church. Well, what Fred Edward just gave you over there, ladies and gentlemen, was church. That was, and I know it went a long way to explain the story to compliment Fred, but what Fred just did there was very equivalent to what Pete Rose did with Frank Thomas and Alex Rodriguez. And you can find that video anywhere for the sports fans out there. It's amazing. But what he just dropped on y'all there is very, very important. And it connects a lot of dots. And is it called the Smith-Muntz Act? What is it called? Fred?
Smith-Muntz Modernization Act.
That's what it is.
It
in the name of national security. What's that?
It reversed the Smith-Mundt Act, which banned domestic propaganda.
Yes. And the way they did it these days, the Smith-Mundt Act, right? The way they did it, and this is, you said this is under Hillary Clinton pretty much when they did this, or was that Obama? It was Obama, right?
Well, it was Obama signed it, but
Yes.
Hillary Clinton was in charge of the State Department, and she brought in a bunch of spooks,
Yes.
a bunch more spooks.
And they could lie to you in the name of national security. And I think a lot of what Jason Burmas talked about, the way they were able to lie about the vaccine, lie about COVID, was because of the Smith-Mundt Act, right? The fact that it was already obliterated, and they can lie to you. They can actually feed you propaganda in the name of national security. What the fuck else did I say?
In New York.
Say that again?
Lockdowns in New York before they did the lockdowns in New York. They started the lockdowns in New York before there were even 100 confirmed cases of COVID in the United States. I mean, I think it's actually even lower than that when they started this nonsense. I mean, the numbers do not lie. You can see, right? I mean, Ryan Christian covered a lot of this stuff early on. Thank God for him. If it wasn't for him at the very beginning, him and you guys, I was losing my mind. Because I heard pre-existing conditions are more prone. All right, was dealing with some high blood pressure issues. I've got nerve damage. I've got muscle damage, and all. I took my temperature like every 4 hours for the first 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
I was making myself nuts, and then Ryan Christian came on, and then you guys started talking about it.
Yeah.
And I realized it was nuts. It was absolute nuts.
And the censorship is real too, as well, ladies and gentlemen. Those who were talking about the things we talked about, we referred to Ryan Christian as the most censored man on the interwebs at times. He would do the pirate radio thing where they would shut down his YouTube and he'd jump to another YouTube. And it was like they were trying to find him.
I was screaming
his words. Huh?
They called it pirate streaming.
Pirate streaming, yeah. You know what?
Yes,
I saw. I had his shirt
his viewers
yesterday.
were just giving over their channels.
What's that, buddy?
His viewers were volunteering their YouTube channels.
Yep.
Just giving them to him, giving him access.
Yep. Dude, I got to tell you, in the very beginning, I was very nervous about COVID myself. You talk about taking your temperature all the time. I lost one of my closest uncles in the beginning of COVID. I don't want to say he's my closest uncle, but he was a close uncle. I mean, obviously, I was close with his kids, my cousins, and I loved my Uncle Bobby. He was great. He was an asshole to me when I was young, but he was an asshole for good reasons. Put hair on your back, right? But he was awesome. But the way he died, and I remember talking to my cousin about it. The last person in his family he got to see was when they were taking him away in the ambulance. They couldn't go to the hospital. They couldn't see him. That's a fucking crime against humanity when you talk about it. But I was scared in the beginning myself, Fred. I didn't know.
That's what happened with my grandmother. They put her in a home, and I got to see her one more time in a year, and then she died.
You're
alone.
Lucky you got to see her in that year, right?
I had to really push for it. So, but it was outside. Like, she obviously wasn't being taken care of. Like what they did to our old people during that first year or two is people should be in fucking jail.
They died scared, alone.
Yes.
It's fucking what they did. And to see the fucking American synthetic left, because that's what they are, the synthetic fucking left, go along with this bullshit after being in the streets with these people, Fred and Sleepy, being in the streets, and to the rest of the audience out there, being in the streets with these people protesting against Big Pharma, right? Because their number one concern, the number one issue on the fucking table for the left in this country, Bernie Sanders movement, was Medicare for all. They understood who the enemy was. It was the pharmaceutical lobbyists. It was Big Pharma. It was all these companies that used pretty much humans as lab rats in Africa, in South America, in Central America. They didn't care. They tested their drugs, killed people, didn't give a fuck, and then brought them home to us, right? And you want to talk about the oil, right, that's being stopped. And what about all the medicines that are made from oil nowadays? When the Rockefellers knew they can make medicines out of oil, they fucking scrapped the whole system we had here and changed it to make sure they can profit off of fucking pills made from fucking oil. It was just crazy to me to see the synthetic left in America go along with who they knew their number one enemy was. All of a sudden, now they're going to be benevolent. Now you're going to listen to Johnson & Johnson. Now we're going to trust Pfizer. Moderna was fucking, once again, the research done for the COVID-19 vaccine for Moderna, modern NRA, right? Modern NRA, RNA, excuse me, not NRA. Modern
Modified.
RNA, right? Was done by DARPA. DARPA did their a fucking military institution did the research for a medical company for their mRNA. You fucking tell me that's kosher. What the fuck is wrong with you people? And I'm so sorry, I don't want to say it like that because we're gonna have another show. I know you watched it, Fred, with Ron Placone and Layla Charles. So we're gonna do another show again. But I think those conversations are important. I'm gonna bring back my friend too as well. When Edward DeJesus, I'm going to get him involved. He was a part of Cornel West's campaign. He was one of the what do you call it? When you have the manager that Peter, what's his name, did at first, campaign manager, right? He had 4 of them at one point after he went through all these people, and Edward DeJesus was one of them. He was a lefty like us that spoke out against COVID, the vaccine, and the mandates in New York, right? Which a lot of those people still haven't gotten their job back. They haven't been compensated. It's a civil liberties issue. You have a right to due process. I don't give a shit if it's working at the speed of science. You have a right to due process. These people did not get their due process. But seeing the left in America go along with this stuff, I don't know what the fuck happened. And there was so much work that I did that when I went to defeat the mandates, yeah, it was predominantly conservatives, and it was kind of crazy to see everything flip on its head, right? Because the people who used to say don't take the vaccines, those were hippies. Those were lefty hippies in America. Now it became the conservative right who are, it's globalists trying to kill us, whatever the fuck it must be. And Gary Noe was great on fucking COVID. Yes, he was another lefty that spoke out against that stuff too as well. It was just mind-boggling to see those people go along with what the big pharma company said, and they're still doing it to this day. Not to mention, R.F. Kennedy hasn't done shit because all over the TV screen when I'm watching these basketball games now, Big Pharma still has their way. They're still selling their drugs despite all the fucking – it's a sick care system too as well. And I know I'm mumbling on over here because this is a topic that really gets me fired up, Fred, but it was fucking crazy to see the leftists and the Democrats go along with this bullshit from COVID-19.
Well, the fear works. They just kept pushing the fear. It worked on me for a little while, and it is. I mean, it's the programming from the media. It's over and over and over again the same message, no matter what channel you're watching.
Yeah.
I mean, the survivability was like 99.4%. No, I'm sorry, 99.7%. Less than 4% deaths. Less than 4% deaths by the CDC numbers. And you still have chuckleheads that are defending this and saying, oh, it stopped people from getting sicker. No, if you look at the data, the more shots you had, the more shots you took, the more boosters you took, the higher your chances of getting worse illness.
Yeah. One of my favorite memes.
It's insane.
One of my favorite memes was Chris Rock, and it said, "Thank God I took that COVID vaccine because that slap from Will Smith would have been a lot worse had I not." That was a great fucking meme. Is there anybody in the queue, Sleepy?
No.
None. Okay, so we can hang out with Fred for a little while. If we want to get one more caller in there, 561-247-2721. That's 561-247-2721. That is 561-247. Bernie Sanders, blackjack. Did you send $27 to Bernie Sanders too, Fred?
I did.
Not the
$27,
but more overall more than the $27. But I did it at $5-10 at the time. All I could afford.
I would do $27.
It still makes me angry.
Yeah, I would do $27 increments to him and $27 increments to Tulsi.
I knew people who skipped meals to give that fucking man money. Like straight up. Like, what the fuck?
Listen, we're not
And-
talking for Anomaly here. Anomaly can kiss my ass. I don't want to hear about Anomaly's bullshit.
Who?
Anomaly.
I don't know Anomaly.
You don't remember Anomaly? He did the Bernie
Nah.
Sanders song, the hip hop guy. He went right. He went conservative. He's a white guy, hip hop guy, pretty popular. I'm glad you don't know him. He's an idiot, anyways. But he did. He was really one of the people who complained. They're like, he gave up meals to go give that guy money. You know, and there were people out there who gave up meals to give him money. It's a shame what Bernie Sanders did because it was a sheep herding operation. Joe Biden.
We paid for our own sheep herding. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's like when Trump says Mexico's going to pay for the wall. We're going to build a wall and Mexico's going to pay for it. No, we're not. Well, we did. That's where he got that from. We paid for our own sheep herding operation. Terrible.
Well, we wanted better. We wanted better, and we thought it was possible. I mean, the movement was strong. The people that were out were a force to be reckoned with. I mean, stadium after stadium after stadium filling up with people who were ready for a revolution that he lied about. He had no intention of leading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's back.
Our revolution is now
insult to injury.
Yeah, and I mean, our revolution in California is doing some Wall Street guy or something for governor. I'm like, excuse me.
I ain't surprised.
John Steyer, right? Is that who they're supporting? Is that his name?
Tom Steyer.
Right. Tom Steyer he was better than all the other establishment candidates, but he was a billionaire, that's for sure.
I don't trust any of these
better
people.
Than better than is the same thing as lesser of two evils.
You're right. I wouldn't vote for him. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that during the time he was running for president at one point, it was better to talk to him than everybody else. At least he had a little bit more of a plan. Once again, I don't want the lesser of two evils. I'm not here to sell that shit. So it's sad what they got for the governor's race over there right now, right? What is it, the mayor race? They're talking about Karen Bass versus Tom Pratt. I mean,
Spencer Pratt.
Where the fuck are we at? When we
go,
when people are going Spencer Pratt, I'm like, what?
Are you kidding me? These are our choices. Like, I'm so glad I don't live in California anymore, man.
Oh my god! Talk about it. Terrible. Fred, we're gonna let you out of here. Thank you for consuming a lot of time. You won the caller of the day, and it was some good competition. There's only 3 callers, but it was some good competition. And we're gonna send you out a toaster. So let us know where you're at, and we'll send that toaster to you.
4 slice.
What's that?
4 slice toaster, I hope.
Yeah. Oh, sure. I thought it was an oyster, oyster, whatever you call them.
No, 4 slice. 4 slice.
I don't know what you mean.
You got to make a lot of toast.
We love you, brother.
Thanks for calling.
Love you too. Have a good day.
You too, buddy. All right, guys, we're coming towards the end of the show. We got about 13 minutes left. Would have liked to have a little bit more callers. Was the queue working? Were we testing that out at least?
Yeah, I got emails when someone hit, I believe.
All right.
I'll have to dig into the logs after the show to make.
We'll dig into the logs after the show. Let's build a log. Let's get some numbers down so we can start sending out text messages to people who called the show and say, "Hey, what's going?"
Yeah, we can text. So,
who's Kaladi, by the way?
Who?
Kaladi. Is he running for governor? Let me see.
I haven't heard that name.
Kaladi. I'm going to just put it into the chat GPT.
Ugh.
You
know how I feel about AI.
You gotta help out the Israelis. You know, then that's their AI, right? Let's see if it comes up. Colada. Colada. Who is that?
I think it's
I don't even know
Kaladi.
who that is. I don't know. Bill, who are you talking about? Bill, you got me confused over here. Guys, you want to be the last caller of the day? 561-247-2721. That's 561-247 Bernie Sanders Blackjack. Give us a call. Pina
Yeah,
colada.
someone in chat enjoyed that particular thing.
Guys, want to thank you for the super chats. Is there any Rumble rants today? I don't want to miss any Rumble rants. I'll get in trouble. And take a look. No Rumble rants. That's okay. No Rumble rants. But we did have some.
Is that what they call super chats over there?
Yeah, they call Rumble rants over there.
Right.
But, dude, they sheep herded everybody into Rumble, and you make about 1/4 the money you would normally make off YouTube. It's just so ridiculous, dude. They've really stripped us dry. They've kept us silent. They haven't promoted us. You know what I'm saying? I used to get so many more people. At one point, we were getting close to 2,000 watchers on YouTube, and then they demonetized us, and it all went away in one fell swoop. I mean, we were building that show. We were looking at people who were kind of on the same level, and we were moving past them. We were doing. It caught fire, and then they just put the fire out right away. And I've been a censored guy ever since.
Yeah,
Josh?
I mean, I remember when they started censoring the shit out of the couch, man. Like, yeah.
Hey, wireless earbuds, bad idea. Who's that, Steph? Why is wireless earbuds a bad idea? Just because it gives you a brain tumor? Come on.
I mean, I get the arguments behind that, but it's hard to even get non-wireless ones at this point.
So tomorrow we'll have Nico House on. We'll have some good conversations. We'll probably have a little bit fired up conversations. Today was like one of those we are the world. We're all holding hands. People, we agree with each other. We were in our own tribe today, right? Non-tribal behavior. We were in our own tribe today, kind of just patting each other on the back. We had Snorky who called earlier talking about we were talking about AI, right? Obviously, and what that's going to do. But we were talking more about the conditions in Iowa and talked about what NAFTA did and how we sent jobs overseas. And eventually they're ready to bring them back home because there's no unions going to be. All the unions will be destroyed and they'll have that slave labor over here. And that's what they're looking for. The professor called in. That was a great call too as well. Had some good conversations. If you don't know who the professor is, it's Kevin from Rockaway. And it's always great having conversations with Kev. And then we also had Fred Edward, who called in, who became the caller of the day. Is going to get a free toaster that we're going to send out to him. I'm going to get some stickers made too as well, though. I don't know. We're going to go. Do you like that drive time logo over there, Sleepy? Do you think we should stick with that one? What do you think out there? Guys, you see the logo in the top right-hand corner? Do you think we should stick with it? Let us know. You can call on in this show at any time you want. Drive Time is a call-in show. It's 561-247-2721. 561-247 Bernie Sanders Blackjack. Nobody else is calling right now. We're just kind of dallying around for the last.
We're chilling.
We're chilling. Anybody want to make a call? Help us out. Bail us out. Please do so. Do so now. Rumble's been beating. Rumble's 20 people. YouTube 20 people. So we're going neck and neck for the title out over there. But there's people I see. Call on in, guys. Do us a favor, too. Share the stream. We need you to share the stream. That will also help, too, as well. People are talking about in the Colombian election, they saw Israeli flags out there.
What? Why?
Yeah, in Colombia, everybody's sharing it right now. RT, Fiorella shared it. Sam Husseini shared it. They saw actual Israeli flags, right? Inside Colombia in some of the protests. Is that not crazy? Yeah.
That's so organic.
Dude, last time we went for the first round, we said if we go back this time, we're going for the second round. I got to see what the results are because I think there's going to be a runoff. So, Colombia general election. Let me just put it in. I don't know who they're saying is cheated what, or did they cheat the guy from winning in the first round is what they're saying. 2026, you dummies. God. Is there guys out there, anybody, do you have to scold and wag your finger and put your AI in its place because it tries to lie to you and bullshit you? And you got to have a talking with your AI. You have to tell your AI, cut the shit out. I asked you for this. go get me this. Stop making excuses.
That's why I
Stop
don't
trying to
use
save
it.
me somewhere
I'm
else.
not helping to train their shit.
I
And
told
that's what
you
you're
what's going to
doing.
happen. AI is
All
going to
right, we got a
save us.
call.
AI
All
is going
right.
to know that there's a
You're our
predator.
last caller.
Go ahead.
Yo, it's Gentleman Bill here.
Enterman Bill, where you been?
I posted Kulati for governor on your chat there. You could click on it. Evidently, Jimmy Dore keeps having her on. She's a joke. He's doing infomercials for her.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, what is he saying?
He's interviewing her and he's promoting her for governor of California. She's terrible. Evidently, she had a TV show called Undercover Billionaire. I don't have cable. I got rid of it 2.5 years ago. I don't even know what it is, but evidently she's a rich woman.
Kulata for governor?
Yes.
Kaladi. It's in the chat.
Kulati.
All right, let's can you pull that up?
Click the link.
Click the link, Josh. Get it up there. Because I can't. Is it in the Rumble chat or the
Rumble.
Yeah, Rumble.
You're a Rumble guy.
Yeah.
I see it.
Got it?
Yeah, I see it. So she's been going on?
Yes, he's had her on at least 3 times for a half hour each time, kissing her ass.
What is wrong with her then, in your mind?
She's a millionaire.
I like how he thinks.
Hey, come on. She's going to help the working class? Come on, Dore.
Hey, let's see her policy positions. Criminal justice and public safety, immigration and workforce.
Yeah.
Wow.
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 Oh, yeah, how about taxes on the rich like her?
Wow. Sleepy, did you get any of this? I'll share.
I don't have it up. I don't want to.
I have it right here. Look at it.
I have like 5 million things open.
All right. So this is on our platform right here.
All right. Let's add this.
Look at this shit. Thank you. I'm so sorry. Look at this shit. This is on her. All right. So this is how you tell this the fugaziness of the situation. Holy shit.
Donnie Brasco.
The fugaziness, right? It's a fugazi. Give it to somebody that, you got a wife, give it to your wife. So she won't know.
Donnie
Hey,
Brasco.
I walk down these streets here, Enterman Bill, and they know who Lefty is, right? Immigration and workforce. Support amnesty and legal work programs for long-term undocumented working residents. Support immigration while opposing sanctuary city policies. Support worker ID programs.
She has a construction company, and she uses immigrants.
The number one reason why I identify myself as an anti-imperialist left, because I think it's important right now, right? What is left, what is right, what not like that. But immigration is a very number one issue for me because I believe it stems to the root of our evil, empire. Everything evil stems from empire. And if you're not acknowledging that it's our intervention in our foreign policy, which is driving the workforce here, the workers here, whatnot, and the majority of them, by the way, are per capita more peaceful. They're arrested less and charged less than American citizens. In other words, if we're looking at the numbers from the FBI website or any crime prevention websites and stuff, you'll see that white men are the biggest problems in the United States. And usually a lot of the deaths that happen or the manslaughters, the murders that happens from somebody that person knows, not from the immigrant that's hiding in the shadows and stuff like that. And this anti-immigrant fucking rhetoric that's being proposed, put that back up, Josh.
Where'd you go? I think Pasta just knocked himself out. Hold on. Oops.
There. It just kicked me off, right? Put that back up. All right. Look at this shit right here. Look, support amnesty and legal work programs for long-term undocumented working residents. This is the right-wing fucking talking point. This is that we have consideration and kindness and care for these people over here, but they're breaking the law and we got to make sure that they do things right. This is not going at the root of the problem. This is not taking a Max Blumenthal anti-imperialist approach at this. We say that these people have a right to be here in this country because we are in their fucking country. This is horseshit, and this is the shit people are supporting. You're supporting this fucking garbage over here. This is some bullshit. This is some bullshit. This is some. Let's see what it says for healthcare. Wait a second. Are you sure, Bill, that that Jimmy Dore supported this person?
Yes, he's interviewed her. Go to his archive. He's
No.
interviewed her at least 3 times.
It says oppose universal healthcare systems. No, he's not supporting. I think you got the wrong person.
Yes, he is.
Bill.
Go to
This
the
is
archive.
Wait. It says oppose universal healthcare system. Are you sure this is the right person, Bill?
Yes. Elaine Colati, she's sitting right in his studio.
Wow. Oppose universal
Go
healthcare
to the
systems.
archives. You can see at least 3 times. She was on for half an hour each time.
Support market-driven healthcare reform to increase affordability through competition. Support healthcare transparency initiatives. Oppose vaccine mandates. Support voluntary vaccination. See, that is, once again, you want to talk about the Overton window being moved? Josh, Sleepy, tell me if I'm right or if I'm right. When you say oppose vaccine mandates, no, you're supposed to say oppose the vaccine. If you look at the documents from Pfizer, this is a fucking death shot. This is a clot shot. This is not right. Okay?
I mean,
this is bullshit. And they're saying oppose the max vaccine mandates. Meanwhile, you allow them to propagandize the fucking country on TV in football games and basketball games and shove their fucking big pharma shot down our throats. And you take this position where we're going to oppose the fucking mandates. Fuck you. That's a bullshit position. That's a bullshit position, and you fucking know it.
Got them all fired up.
Holy shit, Bill. What are you doing? Send the toaster to Bill. Send the toaster to Bill.
You can watch the interviews. They're disgusting.
I don't know if I can stomach it. You might have to take one for the team, Pasta.
Fuck that shit. I'm not watching his shit anymore. Fucking worst thing that guy did was let me walk out his door. I kept him fucking honest. He just fucking when you start chasing fucking clicks and numbers
on his show.
What's that?
The only good I found due dissidents on his show.
Yeah, and I was the first to bring him on. I
They're
introduced him. Yeah. But listen, dude, we're getting out of here. It's 10:02. We went a little bit over. Bill, make sure you continue to call in. I appreciate you being a real big part of the show. I got your number and your information. When we start to get together some T-shirts and some other stuff, I make the joke about a toaster. But when we do get together and get some... Huh?
Where's my toaster?
Well, I think I got to get a toaster oven, right? Like I can't do a toaster anymore. I got to get a toaster oven. We'll figure it out. But listen, brother, I appreciate you calling in. I want to do the final monologue and get us out of here for the day. Thank you for telling me about that. Holy shit. That is very disappointing. That is very disappointing.
Not
Wow.
surprising,
And
though.
Russ had dinner with him yesterday, with Dore yesterday.
Who did?
Russ of Due Dissidents.
Yeah, they're still hanging out. Russ called into the show and stuff. I'm glad he did. I love Russ. He's a good guy. You know what I'm saying? Well, I like him a lot. I don't know if I love him yet. He's not like a Danny Shaw or somebody else. Danny Shaw, I love. That's my brother over there. I love him. And Bill, I'm starting to love you because you love Entenmann's and you support the show. Thanks for calling in, my friend.
Thanks for calling.
Man.
All right, let's wrap this up. Guys, as we wrap up today's show, let's take a moment and get the music ready to reflect on the importance of diversity of thought and the peace we can cultivate with our neighbors. In a world that often feels divided, it's our differences that bring us together. Every unique perspective, every story shared enriches our collective experience and fosters understanding. Remember, it's okay to disagree. It's how we handle those disagreements that truly matters. Let's embrace dialogue over debate, compassion over conflict. When we listen to one another, we open the door to meaningful relationships. By engaging with our diverse communities, we can find common ground and build bridges that promote peace. So I encourage you, reach out to somebody with a different viewpoint, share a meal, have a conversation, a cup of coffee, or simply just listen. Let's create a ripple effect of kindness and understanding in our neighborhoods and beyond, because sometimes conflict can often bring resolution. Hey, thank you for tuning in today. Remember, together, we can celebrate our diversity of thought and pave the way for a brighter, more peaceful future. So until next time, keep that dialogue flowing and that peace growing. I'm Craig Pasta Jardula. This is Drive Time for Sleepy J, Entenmann Bill, Fred Edward, Snorky from Iowa, and Kevin the Professor. We thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. Nico House will be with us. This is Drive Time every morning, Monday through Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern. Tune on in, and you can always call on in. We'll see you tomorrow. I love you. Peace.